Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wanna Know Show. I am your... What?
The hat.
Oh. Go Nats. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Wanna Know Show. I am your host, Javier Perez. This past weekend, our Knights aimed for the stars and beat the Houston Cougars in the annual Space Game with a score of 44-28. There was a lot of interesting plays during this game. We had Brandon Wimbush with his 32-yard end-around run. We had Dillon Gabriel with his amazing run for a touchdown. Neville Clark had an amazing interception right outside the end zone. And Brendan Hayes sealed the deal with a safety. And now, for more on the Space Game, as well as next Friday's matchup against Tulsa, here are the guys from the Three Beards podcast.
As to my left is Craig, and my right is Trouble, Mr. Chris. Unfortunately, I'm the only UCF fan in this podcast, but we talk about it all the time. We talk about UCF, Hawaii, and FSU. Do a quick recap of the Houston game, man. We did it. I'll give it to you. Yeah, that's true. But Chris, we banned him because he joined the bandwagon, and as soon as he did, we started losing. So I kicked him off. Don't worry, guys. He's not there anymore. But for the Houston game, for the Houston game, though, man, we had a great game. We won. We had a couple miscues. I don't know what happened on those 3 and outs. But, man, we did it. Our defense stepped up in the second quarter like they normally do. Nate Evans, you're doing great. That hit from a Collier, that just, man, he hit a brick wall. But, dude, we did great. Dillon Gabriel, 25 touchdowns and 5 interceptions this season. He's definitely proven to be a good quarterback. Houston has benched all their starters and redshirted them. But even then, you can tell their second string is still a good team. So, when we go play them next year in Houston, it's going to be a good game. So don't put them out for next year. That's for sure. They definitely showed that they wanted to beat us like they did from every other game this season. They came out and scored 23 points right off the bat. And we shut them out the rest of the game, thankfully. They had unfortunate safety.
That catch by Nixon was beautiful.
That's what I love, man. They're like, we're shutting down Gabriel Davis. All right, go ahead. We got Williams. We got Davis. We got Nixon. We got Hescott. We're lined up. We're stacked with our wide receivers. So you can stop one guy. We have several more right behind them with our running backs, wide receivers, our quarterbacks. We had Brandon Wimbush catch a pass and then run down for 30 yards. No, man, you can't stop us. Unfortunately, we lost to Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. That's just, it happens. You know what I mean? But with this win and winning the rest of the season, I think we'll win the rest of the season, no problem. Especially when we have Tulsa come up next week. Tulsa gave Chile a run for their money yesterday, but I'm not going to put them out, man, because they got nothing to lose. All they want to do is hurt anybody the rest of the season. So I think that we're going to win in Tulsa. It won't be.
Well, this dropped Houston to 3-4. Like I said, this one takes UCF to 7-2. It's just, unfortunately, there wasn't enough losses to bring them into the top 25, but they're right there. I think the latest one is like 26.
Yeah, we'll be there
26 or 27. But I want to say, Three Beards podcast, I'm willing to cough at $5, but come on, we need to hold the GoFundMe page for the Houston coach to shave that head. That looked like a rabid animal that was just poking out of that visor. I was more distracted watching that coach's hair.
I know, everyone. You can see him getting angry.
We got to shave the head.
Yes. But it's been great, Houston. Glad you came here. We beat you. But we'll see you guys next year in Houston. I might go to that game, depending on. I might go to that game. I might go to ECU. I'm not sure yet, but I'm glad we won. We got Tulsa this week. Tulsa's still a good team. Their quarterback is throwing all over everybody and anybody. So our defense can't stop them. We're gonna have a good game on our hands. So that's it, man. So just tune in. We just finished recording our previous episode. Three Beards podcast, Facebook, Instagram. Check out our merch. So thank you, Javier, for letting us do this, and check us out, man. Good to see you guys.
Go Knights.
Go Knights. John.
Thanks, guys. Joining us once again, here's Kyle Nash, the student of the game.
What's up, everyone? Kumo Kyle Nash, the student of the game, here to bring you the latest in UCF Knights football. To commemorate the groundbreaking of the lazy river at UCF, I'm going to go ahead with a montage that brings the most cliched and lazy pun to evaluate last Saturday's 45-29 victory over the Houston Cougars.
Houston, we've had a problem.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we got a problem.
Houston, you have a problem.
Now, for those of you that noticed the clip went from Houston, we've got a problem, to Houston, you have a problem, yes, that's deliberate in talking about how Houston came to the Space game through all the hype and spectacle it led at the half, 23-21, on the back of their running back, Mo Bakar. Offensively, Pentavious Thompson scored 2 touchdowns with Adrian Killens and Greg McCray both still banged up, while freshman quarterback Dylan Gabriel had 70% of his passes completed on the afternoon. To contribute to the eventual victory, it was UCF linebacker Nate Evans and the defense buckling down, allowing only 6 points in the second half, while also landing a safety. Evans led his team with 12 tackles while also giving Houston credit as a top-tier team in the post-game press conference. Speaking of top-tier teams, one can read a laundry list of them on the 2019 schedule of UCF's upcoming opponent, the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Sure, they're 2-7. But if you are an American Athletic Conference team currently in the college football playoff top 25, you are also on Tulsa's schedule. And it's not like they rolled over in those games. 2 weeks ago, they lost to Memphis by a point in regulation, while they lost to SMU by 6 at the beginning of October, in triple overtime. Needless to say, UCF can't afford to slough off on a short week when they go to face Tulsa on Friday night. This is Kumo Kyle Nash, the student of the game. Find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. And check out my coverage on oldschool101.com of the UCF Knights as well as the Orlando Magic. And check out my writings on sportsmediapass.com as well as my podcast, Night Class, which you can find on the Sports Media Pass SoundCloud and also on iTunes. But until next time, everyone, class dismissed.
Thanks, Kyle. And now, with your weekly predictions, here's Jason Banning.
Thank you, Javier. Hi, everyone. It's Jason Banning, and I have another set of predictions for you. But first, I want to take a look at that Houston game. That was an interesting set of predictions. My math prediction was a little bit low. My heart prediction looked like it could trend in that direction, and if you were taking a good look at the full body of work, it was pretty close. But what really stood out to me, and stood out to many of you, and it was kind of spooky being Halloween week, is the max score scenarios. The max score out of all 20 scenarios for UCF was 44. The max score of all the scenarios for Houston was 29. The final of the game was UCF 44, Houston 29. And I should have made that my heart prediction, and I didn't. It still spooked some of you, and some of you accused me of witchcraft. Although endearing, and I do listen to a lot of heavy metal, I've never really been successful at spinning a record backwards and conjuring anything. Moving on to Tulsa. Historically, UCF going to Tulsa hasn't been that great. UCF has lost a number of times at Tulsa. Now, Tulsa is not that great this year, but it's interesting and notable that they played SMU to 3 overtimes. They ultimately tried and failed to win the game, and I don't think it's going to be that close with UCF. The heart prediction I had this week is leaning towards UCF at 42 and Tulsa at 28. I think that's fair, and it seems to fall in line with some of the scores already in the series. Without further ado, I'll give it back to you.
Thanks, Jason. Well, the American doesn't have a pecking order when it comes to the bowl games. Like, we can either be the high G5 seed that will go to a New Year's Six bowl, or we just get whatever the bowls are. And the way the conference is going to set up the bowls is they're going to set up whatever team is going to bring the most tickets to the game. So it makes sense. Like, I've seen the ones that put us in Florida for the Cure Bowl, or for Gasparilla, those make a lot of sense. My preference, if we can't land a New Year's Six Bowl, would be to play the Birmingham Bowl against an SEC opponent or the Military Bowl against an ACC opponent. No comment. I'm not gonna put that in there. I don't hate anything.
You know, like when the tailgate lots don't open early enough for...
Okay. I hate when the tailgate lots don't open as early as they should. Like 3:30 games? No, we should be there at 8. Not 9, 8. 7 o'clock at night games? Yeah, we should be there at 8 also in the morning. And yes, I know that you guys in the softball lot, you know, you get there early, whatever. Some of us don't tailgate there. So every lot should be open at 8 o'clock in the morning, regardless of game time. I hate that. The kickoff for the game against USF is going to be announced at least 2 Mondays prior to the game, as with every other game that doesn't have a set schedule. What was the question?
What time is the USF kickoff going to be? Not when is it going to be announced? They're asking you to make a prediction.
Oh, if I had to make a prediction, I'd say 3:30, like 2 years ago. Would be a good time. Plenty of time to tailgate, plenty of time to party, and plenty of time to get ready to go see the Knights whooping some cows. There's no denying that our defense has been amazing in the second half. But yeah, I would like to see some adjustments happen a little bit earlier. I don't know really why it's happening though. I love the changes that we make when we come out of the locker room. Like defense has been lights out for the last 3 games. But yeah, I would love to see it happen a little bit sooner. I would love to see the defense play a full 4 quarters of hard-nosed defense in there. But in order for that to happen, the offense has to keep them in the game. We have a very fast-paced offense that doesn't really give our defense a lot of time to rest. Like, we're scoring touchdowns in a minute and a half or less, and then the opposing team comes in and they keep our guys on the field for 3, 5, 8 minutes. So yeah, I can see a little bit of fatigue or something, but at least if every time the offense is on the field, if they can come up with some points, they can at least set up the defense for a better situation. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to tune in this Friday on ESPN2 as our Knights travel to Tulsa to take on the Golden Hurricane, and tune in next week for another episode of the Wanna Know Show. Go Knights!